Welcome back. Growing older often means more freedom, retirement, and in most cases, the kids have left the nest.
But what's next? Heather Buer with Valley Christian Counseling Center is here to explain how to embrace life and love once you've hit those golden years. Good morning.
Good morning.
It can get a little, I mean, that's a time in your life when, you're right, empty nest, you're not so sure about things anymore.
Things are really changing. It's kind of that point in life where you don't know what to expect because you've had kids for so long and you've been doing your thing, and maybe the kids are all of a sudden gone. And that can bring up a couple different things. One of the things is that oftentimes mothers especially have a great deal of grief around this time. And not always, you know, some women, I talked to a woman just yesterday who she didn't experience the empty nest syndrome. That was a good time for her just to experience more freedom like we talked. But I know many mothers especially do experience a lot of grief, and so having a supportive husband during that time is going to be a very supportive, very life-enriching thing for her, someone who understands and just kind of lets her be in that grief for a while. But then some of the other things that we see is that once these kids do go off to college, then you have these two people standing in this empty house looking at each other like, who are you? Why are you here? You're eating my food. You're sleeping in my bed, or sometimes not, you know, sleeping in my bed. I see that quite a bit. And so we don't have anything in common anymore. And so they've really reached a juncture where they have to make some decisions about how do we go forward. And, you know, in my world, divorce really isn't an option over a thing like this. You know, there's circumstances where divorce is necessary, but this is not one of those times. And so when I think about going into a counseling session with a couple who's really trying to figure out who they are, what they had been is not what they are now, and they've changed a lot. You know, people change as you're growing older and raising kids and doing your own career, and so one of the first things is I always hear couples say, we don't have anything in common. We don't have anything in common. He likes this, I like that, and never the two shall meet, you know? And so really it's a choice. You have to make a choice. We all have choices in life. We have free will. We can decide, are we going to focus on the things that we can try to find in common? Like maybe we try a whole new thing that isn't his like or her like, you know, but maybe it's something brand new altogether. Take a cooking class, or take a, you know, a wood carving something, or, you know, underwater basket weaving, I don't know. But rather than choosing to focus on what we don't have in common, that just brings up more of the negative and focuses on the negative, which is oftentimes where they are anyway.
And you mentioned a good point too, but you have to work at it.
You do.
Right?
You do.
And then maybe even work at it before that empty nest time
Well, and
comes.
that's the thing. That's why I'm always telling young couples, have date night, have it regularly. Don't forget that you are each other's friends, that you're on the same team, because you don't want to be in these shoes, you know, when you're 55 or 60 or whatever the case may be, and you're looking at each other and not even really liking each other. And, you know, to the people who ask, you know, well, I don't like him. Like, what am I supposed to do about that? Or she's a nag or whatever, you know, really, you can overcome this. You really can, but it takes the work, like we talked about. And the word that I really like to use a lot is intentionality. I mean, really, when we're paying attention to what we're doing, and we're paying attention to being a kind person and someone who is someone that I would want to live with. If I'm acting like the person that I would want to live with, you know, if I'm showing generosity, if I'm being kind, if I'm serving someone, then that's going to foster good intention. It's going to foster good feelings between one another.
Okay, much more on this with Heather Buer when we come back.